And we're live. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 4 of Raid Week Wednesday. I am Ricardo, and I have 3 people with me. Say your names.
Hey guys, it's this fucking guy again. Andrew's here, and these two lovely gentlemen to my north.
Yeah, we are northwest.
We call him Indris Raid Wipe.
Fuck off.
Andre, stand at the fire.
Iron Star Indris.
I actually like that one.
What's up? This is your boy McShield.
And this is your healer, Sake.
All right.
Not
all
really heal.
Garbage.
He just stands in the back and waves
I
his
just
hands
stand in the
around.
back, throw up some healing raid, call it a day.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Raid Week Wednesday. We have a lot of stuff to cover today. There's so much stuff, and there's so much more stuff that I'd like to even cover, but we don't have the time for that today. That's the problem. So we're gonna definitely talk about
a third of this list that we're getting to.
I know. I hope we even get to that third. I mean, there's the main points that we want to start off on. There's just so much to talk about. And you guys said you had a surprise for me. You said something about something coming up that I have heard nothing about. So I'm really eager to hear.
I'm excited about it.
Be hyped, sir.
Oh, I'm ready. But just to start us off, let's go over one of the biggest events for Blizzard coming around within this next coming few days. BlizzCon. You guys, everyone's hyped about it. So let's talk about it. I know there's some important events going on with that. What do you guys? How do you feel about this coming BlizzCon? What are you guys excited for?
I am just on the edge of my seat. I'm paying for my whole seat, but I'm only using the edge.
Sunday.
About this PvE raid throwdown between Method and Midwinter.
Oh my god.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to see that.
Who do you guys, out of everyone's opinion here, who do you guys think is going to take the cake for that one? Who's going to win that PvP competition, or PvE, I'm sorry, PvE competition? Method or Midwinter?
All right.
Method.
He says Method, but I'm an American, okay?
Yeah.
I'm an American.
You know,
It's all about Midwinter.
Why don't you go back across the pond where you came from?
Listen, I drive a Honda. I drove a Volvo before this.
Hold on, I also like
My
to point
favorite
out.
show. Go Method.
Hold on, I'd also like to point out that I am also, above all else, above being American, I am part of the Alliance, okay? Fuck the Horde.
Woo-hoo.
Fuck the Horde.
Oh.
Yep.
There you go.
Method's Horde, Midwinter's Alliance.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, it is interesting because you figure I feel like when you think about it, people always assume that the English, they're coming. No, the Europeans, they're better. I don't know why. I guess there's that perception that they're better at PvE than the American guilds for whatever the reason. But you feel like the American guilds would be better because they have a wider player base to pull from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've seen that too. Like, even not just in World of Warcraft, other games like League of Legends and stuff. Like, we get even sports, for crying out loud, when it comes to an international level. Like, we get shunned or kind of insulted on a national stage, or not a national, like a worldly stage. Whereas these European countries, they get that fame, especially when it comes to these games. Like, I mean, League of Legends, its own department in Korea and all those places. But
our league teams are garbage. We have one that's semi not trash, and that's TSM. So
yep.
It's just European and like Korean and Chinese.
Yeah, it's not even, it's like on that level of rating too. It's these people, even from America, perceive that like we had right now. Like, Europeans are just stronger at this game than Americans are. And I don't think that's true. I think
it's interesting because if you look at their servers, they only have like 6 or 7, and of that, there's only like Frostmourne is probably their most populated, and then they only have like Frostmourne is like their Illidan, you know, and then
Illidan?
our Illidan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and then they only have like, I want to say like 2 or 3 high pop servers, and everything else is new or low pop. So it's really interesting.
I think it's because the attitudes toward a work week in the EU are much different than it is here. They work less hours and they get more time off. So I think they have time to raid.
a lot. Well,
Touché.
even if it was this kind of end game kind of feel where these guys are progressing on top tier levels, this is their jobs. Like this is what they do on a daily. I mean, some of them
Yeah,
might work
let's-
those part times, but still, like yeah, even like that workload is definitely different over there. It's way more relaxed over there, so
And-
they get that extra free time.
And it may seem like a minuscule difference, but because they may or may not. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not well versed in the labor game over in Europe. But if in fact they do get less hours than we do, and more time off, obviously they have more time to play the game. But I feel like getting into esports or just like a video game career of sorts is more viable of an option in any other country besides the United States right now, just because of the country's economic situation.
I think that's starting to turn around a bit. I mean, if you look at the ESPN numbers for the league finals, like it was legitimate.
I'm sorry, ESPN numbers for what?
The League of Legends finals.
ESPN has League of Legends on it?
Yeah, they showed on
It's
ESPN
esports, man.
3. They showed the
Where
esports.
are you at, dude?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
I figured you'd like be sitting there with like a tub of popcorn and
yeah.
like
ESPN has started to see the
a
legitimacy.
boarhead
of,
truck just
True.
That's
They've started to see the legitimacy of esports as a market. So they're
yeah,
starting to.
and
sports.
the government obviously sees it as like a viable option for a career path, and that it's like a legitimate thing because the government, I think it was last year when they first started finally handing out players visas to come into
Importing
this country
Asians.
to come play.
Bringing in the Asians.
So I
That's
mean,
what we need.
I think it's like a huge step up because, like I said, I used to play Pro StarCraft like a couple of years back, and it was like over the couple of years that it's been, esports has just blown the fuck up, and I think a heavy majority of it is due to League of Legends, how big of a game it is right now, and I think a lot of people overlook how much it's really done for just the scene in general.
I want to play WoW for a living, guys. So
Let's go.
I need
quitting
everyone
right
on the raid team to be on their game so we can get paid for this.
and now getting back to the topic at hand though, method versus midwinter. I'm gonna have to go with midwinter. It's in LA. It's our home turf. That's a how many hour difference for assuming they're all, I see EU and I think Britain. I know that's not necessarily the truth, but
Well, if they're in, let's just say they're all in the UK, that's a 9-hour difference.
I mean that's gotta throw you off your game a little bit, right? Or are they just gonna go? I guess when we're talking about this, they're gonna be sitting like Team A on one side, Team B on the other, and just rating, right? Like that's what we're doing.
Well, I
They probably paid for
there's going
everyone
to
to
be
do that.
three people from each team on stage playing, and then the rest. I'm not sure if the rest are going to be on site or if the rest will be in.
They're at home.
Home,
We did
so-
that they've always set them at home. All the other players just stay home while they have the main 3 players for each team represent themselves on the actual stage, and we're at BlizzCon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit difficult for the players that are going to be there playing live from Europe, just because of the time zone difference. But like as far as the other ones go, because like obviously they have to like fly over and they have to adjust themselves to the time, and they're probably not going to have as much time just because of how short of a time span that they're probably going to have between leaving home, flying, arriving, and then getting ready for the whole thing. But the people that are back home raiding in Europe. WoW players are not affected by the day and night cycle. We sit inside, we shut the blinds,
Pasty white skin.
monitor goes on, and you don't remember what day it is. Like, so I mean, as far as that goes, I think we're used to ignoring the whole day and night cycle. So I think it'll just be easier for them. But I guess I don't know. We'll have to see how it turns out. But again, I'm rooting for Midwinter.
Yep, just remember 3 votes midwinter, 1 method. Let's see. Let's hope USA. But well, besides that PvE event, if anyone's interested in the PvP side of things, they've already had the first rounds, I believe, going through, or they're preparing things. I do know that the arena tournament goes on a little bit ahead of actual BlizzCon itself, to kind of get it done by the time BlizzCon ends. So if you guys are interested in that, that's also going on. And then if you get your virtual ticket, or if you're there, you can experience like the infamous costume contest, different things like that. They have all the different stages for Diablo, StarCraft. But the thing we're going to talk about now, this is one of the main topics of tonight because you guys showed me a glimpse of something and then took it away from me. We're going to go over the main topic at what we believe is going to be released at BlizzCon, The Eye of Azshara. Now you guys can go off, explain it to me, blow my mind.
I got this one. All right,
you
so
wanna
earlier
start?
this
All right.
week, Blizzard, it was, released that Blizzard had trademarked Eye of Azshara.
Hold on. Before you start, we got a question in the audience from cross_LOL. He says, "What's 10 plus 11?" Sir, I'll tell you. There we go. All right, continue.
21. Yeah. All right, so Blizzard trademarked Eye of Azshara. So take all of this with a grain of salt, but on Reddit there was a post from a source from within Blizzard.
Potentially. And let's also before we go into detail of why we're bringing this up, is because people are there's a controversy going on, like a kind of like almost like an argument back and forth between a lot of people, is that Blizzard announced that they were going to release another 100 cards for Hearthstone before the end of the year.
So Eye of Azshara is probably the name of this Hearthstone expansion.
Yeah, probably.
But there is a source from within Blizzard who is saying that Eye of Azshara is the next expansion for World of Warcraft. And we've got a post here that I'm going to read through because it sounds pretty awesome. Again, grain of salt, but it's good topic of conversation. So, Eye of Azshara is the next expansion to World of Warcraft and is planned to launch Q1 of 2016. Blizzard is intentionally breaking their mold and announcing this expansion at this year's BLIZZCon for a few reasons. First, there's about to be a big company-wide push to bring the Warcraft franchise into the next decade with Hearthstone, WoW, and a PvP battleground-themed console game that will also be briefly teased at BLIZZCon.
Potentially.
Crazy. Second, the loss of subscriptions at the end of Pandaria was a big blow to morale as they went into the expansion planning regular content patches. They want to prove to the gaming community that WoW is going to be around for a while and won't go stagnant at the end of the next expansion. So the last patch of WoD is tentatively planned 4 to 6 months prior to the launch of Eye of Azshara. That's point one. That's a lot.
That's one.
That is a lot. That's crazy.
Let's talk about this before we continue.
Yeah, bit by bit. Okay. Yeah.
Let's start with, obviously Blizzard does want to keep WoW alive. I know Chris Metzen's got a lot of shit going on in his head, and he's the only person in the world that knows exactly what's going to happen. Screw you. But I think
he's just walking around planning on how he's going to nerf mages. Let's be honest. That's
and remove warriors, like
and model more characters after himself.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility because, like, I mean, obviously this whole patch of Siege of Orgrimmar lasted as long as somebody would want an entire expansion to fucking last.
Yeah.
And it's as long as how, according to this post, WoD is most likely going to last. It's
what I think this, like, what lends credence is we've heard for a long time that Draenor is going to be a 2-tier expansion. Mm-hmm. That's it. So 2 tiers is about 6 months apiece, which would be a year.
Right. And something that leads me to believe this being even slightly bit more true is the fact that, obviously we have all these warlords to deal with, but Ner'zhul, the individual who was the first Lich King, who basically was a big cause as to why the Wrath of the Lich King expansion even occurred, was killed in a 5-man dungeon.
It's a bummer.
So the fact that they're just killing off one of the few warlords that they already have, just like that, points to me that potentially this may be a short expansion, and that it's almost a bit closer to becoming true that Eye of Azshara could be the next expansion.
And they've also always said that this expansion leads directly into the next.
Ooh. Now, So, let's talk about this.
And the PvP battleground themed console game.
I was just gonna say,
pretty awesome.
Well, I think it's funny that this comes out now because it was just last week we were talking about, when are they going to reach into another platform? Like, now we were talking more about taking the Garrison theme and maybe making a mobile app out of it, where you can launch things maybe Black Flag style, like when you're controlling the boats and whatnot on your cell phone. But yeah, console game, that would be epic.
Well, Blizzard already has console games. Like Diablo 3 played great on the console.
Yep.
I really like Diablo 3 on the console. So, but if we get a WoW themed console game, I've already bought it.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, there's a couple concerns. There's a few flags that are going to go out, but there's also some reinforcement to the whole idea. First off, a PvP battleground game. I'm assuming it would be obviously WoW themed. You'd be able to choose your classes. Would it be almost like PvP battleground, like champion based, almost like Heroes of the Storm in Battlegrounds on console? A short, small amount of abilities that you can use, and it's not played like WoW in the sense that it's not like this kind of third person. You have all these freaking buttons, all these different spells. You have to be kind of, especially from the PvP side of things, you got to be really strategic about how you use your GCDs. But is it going to be kind of like almost like a brawler type thing? Secondly, would it be across both consoles? How do you feel? How do you guys feel that how each other consoles company plays into the factor? Do you think Microsoft's going to say we want this as an exclusive because we know how big of a how many, like, all the people that play WoW are Blizzard fanboys? Like, there's no doubt about it. There's 100% of the population that plays WoW is a Blizzard fan.
They could. They didn't do that with Diablo, so I doubt they would do that with this.
But I don't think Diablo has that big of a following as World of Warcraft does, though, because not only are you going to attract, the current WoW players, because like you said, you've already bought it. I've already bought it twice. I know for a fact that Chris and Ethan would buy it. Like, I would spend $500 on another console just to play this fucking game. I would buy, this console version, like the special edition PvP Battleground fucking console. I think a brawler type game would probably be a bit more realistic for the console, just because of how limited you are into controls in general. But there's also the possibility it almost plays like WoW, because they have been trimming down the amount of abilities that each class has. I still don't see how that'd work, but I mean,
if arms
hold on.
basically a 4-button rotation, 3-button rotation,
Yeah.
you can.
For Warrior it'd be simple. But no, everything in general, like, you can't just look at World of Warcraft when we're discussing this console side of this MMO kind of game. Last year, Final Fantasy Realm Reborn hit the computer and the PlayStation. I played both on the computer and I played it on the PlayStation. I thought it was a phenomenal MMORPG on a PlayStation console, with the way they made the switching of your action bars and different things like that. It was really easy to get used to. Just like if you're sitting here with a keyboard trying to get used to the different keybinds and different things like that, you just get used to a controller going through all of those different complex controls while you're playing the game. Mm-hmm. It's a similar MMO. It's the same. You were able to play. It was cross-platform, so all the players that were playing on the PlayStation played with the guys on the computer. I had no problems playing with the guys on the PlayStation. It was awesome, actually. I thought it was an amazing experience. So stuff like that was already released, I think Blizzard could capitalize on, do better. We might see something incredible come to this console. Like, we might see some addicting, not like Call of Duty in a sense where it's just nothing but battlegrounds. I think there might be a little bit more to it. I think they might take what they've been doing with Diablo, what's already out there with games like Final Fantasy. I think they might just make something incredible and bring it to the console. I really do. I think they have the potential.
I hope so, because, like, I mean, back to what I was saying about, like, their potential market is that a lot of, sometimes I guarantee, like, a big chunk of the community that stopped playing WoW is just because they don't have the time to, but something that they could jump on for 20, 30 minutes before work, or, before they go to class or something like that, and just get in a BG on your console, like, really quick. All you got to do is, Xbox play and then start playing. Like, I think that'll be huge, and I'm assuming they'd give you some sense of progression, because Blizzard always does in their games, that it's something that people can constantly work towards, and even in these short 30 to 45 minute bursts of playing the game, that when they come on the next time, they're like, oh shit, that's right, I unlocked this or that, and they have that sense of progression. I think that'll be big.
Indeed. Let's move on. Let's go to the next points.
Yep.
Hit the next point.
All right. Eye of Azshara will be the South Seas expansions players have hoped for. Nazjatar will rise from the ocean, and Queen Azshara will begin an assault on Azeroth. New zones will include Nazjatar, Zandalar, the Rift of Aln, and Kul Tiras. The Alliance will ally with a faction of uncorrupted Highborn seeking to usurp their former leader, and the Horde will ally with a disgruntled Naga tribe. These are not playable races, but NPC factions. Azshara is working closely with Sargeras, and this expansion will be the second pseudo-Burning Legion expansion. heavily Legion influenced without the Legion as a central theme. They're building up the Burning Legion big time.
Oh man. Okay. Go ahead,
No.
continue. I'm willing to listen.
No. Let's talk about this. All the zones that he was talking about, definitely think that's a possibility. The fact that the Alliance would ally with an uncorrupted Highborn makes sense to me, because obviously that's what they were, and Azshara is just some crazy Highborn bitch. Gone Naga.
That's trademarked, by the way.
She is
Crazy
that.
highborn bitch.
She is.
Yeah.
That's trademarked.
The Horde with a disgruntled Naga tribe. I'm not too familiar with all of the Naga lore, so I'd have to research that. But like, I don't know, it feels kind of, the Alliance side seems cool, but like, it just says, from what we're reading, the Horde is with a disgruntled Naga tribe. What do we know about this Naga tribe? Are they against Azshara too, or are the Horde gonna like assist Azshara, or are they just gonna sit on the sidelines? Like what? Because obviously he put forward that the Alliance wanted, usurp Azshara, get her down, stop this bullshit, let's get it over with, and they have like a clear goal. But what do the Horde have? Obviously this isn't like a full post, but like it's just what we know now. So I'm curious as if this is something that actually occurs.
It sounds almost like a Naga version of the Forsaken. Like, they're not necessarily like all about the Horde, but like for now their interests align. Mm-hmm. It's kind of how I read it.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I mean, like, it's if this does ring true, and Friday or Saturday we find out that this is going to be the next WoW expansion, warn your neighbors, because I'll be screaming. It'll be pretty hype.
All right, so two more quick points. This next one is why I think like it's crazy, because this is super specific. So it says Eye of Azshara will be introduced at BlizzCon during a video celebrating the next 10 years of Warcraft. Like, that's really specific.
So
also,
they've already posted that too.
Also in the video clips are the Death Knight class for Hearthstone and alpha gameplay clip of the BG game. The video is narrated by Martin Sheen, in character as Nozdormu, and is a glimpse into the future.
Cheeky.
Do you get it?
Cheeky.
Yeah.
A glimpse into the future as Nozdormu. That is very specific. The fact that he put, details of what we're going to actually end up seeing, down to who's going to voice act in what character and the general setting of the video. So, I mean,
it's just a lot of targeted info.
Yeah, it really is, like, really specific. So, I mean, if this guy actually works for Blizzard, this rings true. This is going to be nuts, and you'll hear why as soon as you hear this next post.
All right, this is my favorite one. This is the Brady's about to pass out.
Oh god,
Catch
go
him.
ahead.
Right. The big focus of BlizzCon as Warcraft goes will be content patches of WoD. One of the Tenan jungle raids will be previewed, and it's called Hellscream's Ascent. But the big news is that Illidan is coming back. When the Legion begins to invade Draenor in 6.1, Khadgar believes it's time to fight fire with fire, and with the help of Chromie, sends the players back in time on Azeroth to free Illidan from his prison.
Oh, we're doing that. We're the doers.
Now, before you continue,
Illidan comes in as a wild card, leading a faction of demon hunters against the Legion and Gul'dan.
Hold on. Don't say anything else.
Okay.
I want to point out that we do, during our current timeline, pre-Warlords of Draenor, there has been an instance where, Illidan was locked up for 1,000 years, was released, and because of his love for Tyrande Whisperwind, that he continued to help Malfurion in his fight against the Legion, and then after that he went wild card to the max, and caused some problems. Now this next point, can we get some dramatic music, Chris?
Dun dun. Dun, dun, dun. No, just go ahead. Just come on. You're making me nervous. You're making me already shake.
Can we get a quick pause just for suspense?
Drum roll.
All right. The source says she doesn't know for sure, but it sounds like demon hunters as a playable class are being set up.
God.
Boom!
Oh my god. It's about time. I'm sorry, but thank you. If this is really true, Blizzard, if you're watching this, Chris Metzen, if you're somehow in here right now just peeping out on this,
he is.
Thank you. We've been waiting. I've been waiting for a new class forever. This game has so much potential to add one. You do so many damn changes to the skills that we already have in this game.
We just got monks, dude.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
I don't-
say, you
I
mean
don't-
like punks?
We needed another hero class.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. They brought up this whole Death Knight back in the day and brought up this huge, this is the hero class, like, here we go. And it didn't really happen. I know they just brought monks in the game last expansion. Maybe it's just because I've been in this expansion so damn long already, or it feels
forever.
I'm just tired of it, but we skip around too much. Like, I feel like World of Warcraft has the potential to just either drop a new class every expansion, drop some race involvement in a new expansion or a new race. I know we did the panda and the monk, but add on to that. Like, Cataclysm was cool because it gave variety both to the Alliance and the Horde. Like, they need to keep throwing stuff at like that at us. I feel like this expansion was cool, but you keep this expansion out this long and that's all you deliver. Like, there needs to be more. There needs to be more. I like the rating, but bring this content. Throw it at me. Let me eat it. I want to become fat of content. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Now, let's talk a little bit about this potential Demon Hunter as a playable class. First off, what do you think it would have any sort of similar playstyle to any of the... Let's just go around the room, go Ethan, AJ, Chris. Maybe give a little thought on it. I'll ask a couple questions here. What class, if any, do you think it would be similar to currently in the game? Or any other Blizzard game?
Can I like mesh two classes together?
Sure.
Essentially.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna say Warlock and Hunter, but not including the range aspect, turning it into a melee class. I'm gonna say.
I think it would play almost like a Warlock and a Rogue combined. Something like that. Like a melee beast, but...
A melee kind of like Shadowcaster type thing, maybe.
But I don't know if they'd give us another melee class. I think WoW's long overdue for another range class.
That's why I agree with Rady as far as it being a Warlock Hunter mash, but I'm gonna say it's a ranged physical that focuses on some sort of shadow magic, poison, or dot, like kind of like an affliction lock specifically, mixed with the physical damage of a hunter. Is kind of what, when I hear that, that's what I think.
Ready? You can't actually think of. Hold on. You can't actually think of it as like. I think everyone perceives the Demon Hunter as Illidan, like, oh, you're gonna be running around with like no shirt on, war glaives, like that kind of thing. Like that's not the Demon Hunter. That's just Illidan. So you have to look at it in more of a general aspect. I think there's more to the Demon Hunter. I see it being more. They just delivered us monks, a melee class. I think I'm shooting that it's gonna have these ranged abilities. It's gonna be a caster class. I definitely think so, or maybe like a physical or some form of ranged
like
class.
a mid-ranged.
How about this one? You have 3 specializations, right? What if one is melee, the other one is a physical range, and the other one is a spellcaster? How crazy would that be to have a hybrid class that can alternate specs depending on what this fight needed, between range and melee? Between physical and spellcasting magic damage.
I like the idea of it being pure DPS. So, like, we just got the monk, which could do all 3.
Right. We don't need another...
We don't need another all 3.
Right.
Like, and Demon Hunters shouldn't be healers by any stretch. Like, no. Absolutely not.
And not... I doubt...
Be a tank.
No, doesn't sound like it would be a tank. But, like, something that could change between all 3, alpha types of a DPS... would be absolutely nuts, and they'd be the most versatile class in the game. And once they come out, obviously, whenever Blizzard releases new content, playable content, it's going to be broken. So, I'm looking forward to that. If that happens.
Sounds interesting, is it's almost kind of like what you're describing, what the original... So originally, when Hunters first came out, just
Survival,
plain old ordinary Hunters, the way the trees lined up is you had the Beast Mastery tree, which now granted in vanilla everything was broken outside your one specific spec, but bear with me. So you had your one that kind of focused more on the pets. You had the one that focused more on being the DPS dealer yourself in Marksman, and then you had Survival, which at the time focused on your melee abilities, which made them do more damage and stuff like that. Now, Survival as the melee spec never really progressed to where it was a working thing, and then they scrapped it to more of a raid support role, and then eventually to what it is now. But that's almost kind of what you were just... It sounded like you were describing there to me. I was instantly like, well, that's what Hunters at one time when this game first started were set up to be, which is kind of interesting.
I think it'd be cool because I figure the melee version of it would basically kind of combine all three together in the sense that it would be dealing physical damage, but its abilities would enhance its auto attacks, or like it'd be like its own special ability where it caused a combination of magic and physical damage. And it'd be like it'd have like tons of it'd be basically Hunters back in the day where it would just love every single stat. And with the change to how gear works now, switching between specs switches your gear to whatever is best for you or for that spec. It seems something that could potentially be more and more viable the more more you think about it.
It's exciting.
Yes, yeah. Like this is
it's BlizzCon Eve. Like we're gonna find out if this is true tomorrow.
in a couple days. Oh my God!
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? No, tomorrow's Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday. That's
yeah,
right.
it's Friday.
We think
Yeah,
it's
2
late
minutes.
already. It's only 30.
All right. Well, to not drag on this, I don't want to drag on this conversation because I'm scared that if we talk about it so much now, the day comes that they drop the video and they just show
BlizzCon
a mobile app
also,
or something.
Blizzard also they trademarked the word Overwatch, so that could be something as well. There's not nearly as much rumors or speculation about that, but that's another trademark they just dropped. So
that could be the
Hearthstone
thing.
Hearthstone. But I mean, there is every chance that Eye of Azshara is just the next Hearthstone expansion,
which will be super disappointing to everyone that read that post.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably
they actually
what it
took
is.
the post
This
down.
could all just be huge misinformation, and they're going to hit us out of left field. But it's a lot of very specific information that lends credence. That or this guy is just like a super good liar.
But I'll tell you what,
Super good.
Ethan here will be really excited when he gets his Demon Hunter Hearthstone card that allows him +6 attack for his next turn. He's gonna love that.
There we go.
That's what's
I'll be screaming. I hope my neighbors don't hear me either.
Yes.
Yes. But besides that topic, it's over. Thank you, Mom. But besides just the upcoming expansion, we do know that they're already talking about a giant release of Hearthstone. I don't know if you guys looked at the main stage. They had everything listed out, but one of the parts of the stage is that they're going to be introducing to us finally the Warcraft movie. So
Are they going to show like an official trailer? Are they showing just another teaser? Are they just going to give us more information that they have in the past? Because
clue.
I know there was, I don't know if it was speculation or if it was like a definite thing. I'm a huge fan of the series Vikings on the History Channel. Obviously the main protagonist of the series is Ragnar Lothbrok. Now, the individual that plays Ragnar Lothbrok in Vikings, is supposedly starring in the Warcraft film because it's supposed to be a live-action film. For those who don't know, his name is Travis Fimmel, and I love him as an actor. I think because of the way I've seen him portrayed in Vikings, I've never seen him in any other film or television series before Vikings. So my only view of this individual is that of this nitty-gritty, down and dirty kind of setting as, a Viking. So I feel like him going into the Warcraft setting, assumably as a human, would kind of be an easy transition not only for him but for viewers that have seen Vikings, and they're like it'll be something that they see this person in like a similar setting, and it's easier for everyone to adjust and to comprehend basically. And I think that'd be really cool because I love him as an actor. He's really, really, really good.
Yeah, let me just discuss. They have the whole lineup, so you can look at it. The thing I believe about Eye of Azshara, which is actually making me more excited, is that they're premiering that documentary an hour before BlizzCon ends. So that's the last thing they're doing. They're doing all the questions. They're doing everything before they even talk about that World of Warcraft documentary, which makes me also to believe that if that's the end and they do show that little bit at the end, that's what they're going for, a big bang. and that's what's showing.
Documentary? Do you mean like the Warcraft movie, or like are they making a documentary?
No, the 10 years of World of Warcraft.
Gotcha.
What they said about releasing Eye of Azshara, how you guys said it's supposed to be released at the end of that documentary,
Yep.
or that 10 years. That's at the very end of BlizzCon. That's right at the end. So I'm thinking
You got to do something to blow the roof off at the end.
they're gonna show everything and hit it with the bang at that point. The Warcraft movie is on Friday. It's actually at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so around 5 o'clock on Friday. Just to let you guys know.
Hype.
It's gonna be Chris Metzen, and the movie director Duncan Jones, and they're gonna give us an exclusive presentation. And apparently, it's packed with surprises. So we're probably gonna see. We might even see like the first 10 minutes or 5 minutes of the movie or something.
Yeah,
we might
from
see
what
something
From
incredible.
what I've heard about the movie, it's live action, and it's going to be. It's not Warcraft 3 related, so it's not going to be any Arthas stuff like that. It's set before all that, so it looks like they may go back to like Warcraft 1.
Humans and orcs.
Yeah.
Now, do we know whether or not it's gonna be like a canon thing, or are they just doing something just for a
I
movie?
think they're setting up it's kind of like the Marvel movies where it's like they're pulling from a ton of lore and history, but they're doing their own thing with it.
Got ya.
I doubt they'd tie the games into the movie since it's set pre.
Or
But
potentially,
we're time traveling now, so who knows?
yeah, potentially could be something where they just kind of capture the life of an insignificant character as in lore wise, but kind of like maybe it's just like the life of the average soldier during like the first war or something like that.
We'll see.
We'll have to see, and we'll definitely be talking about it next Raid Week Wednesday, all about BlizzCon.
On
And
the
more.
last day.
Hold on. We'll talk about that.
We'll get
Yeah, we'll get there with that one. That's woo.
Oh my God, it's happening! I don't care what anyone says.
The realization that Warlords of Draenor is a week away, almost. It's a week in like 3 hours now. That's pretty crazy. It's too hype. I'm too hyped to even think about it. I'm not gonna think about it. I'm gonna focus on this right now.
talk
Still a
about
week, so
let's talk numbers, guys. How's that?
All right.
let's talk Simcraft numbers. Yeah, let's talk. They added, if anyone's interested and they watch numbers daily, like myself and my guild members, they added tier 17 normal to the Simcraft numbers finally. It's not just mythic anymore. They're actually showing what the numbers are gonna look like in normal gear.
Want to throw me that link?
I can throw you that link. Well, AJ, if you can throw in that link, or if one of you guys
Toss it in the Twitch chat so that way people can take a look
Yeah,
at
just
that as well.
throw it up, and we'll post it up as well. What it's looking like? Of course, if any of you guys have been watching, monks are still on top. I don't know how long they're going to stay on top. They might be the leading DPS going into the expansion and stay
R.I.P.
for a while.
Chris.
The leading DPS.
R.I.P.
So, we don't. I'm hoping these numbers have been changing daily. Like every day, these numbers go up and down somehow. I've watched the Unholy Death Knight go up and down more times than I can say my name. It's just been going up and down nonstop. Priests have been showing that they're the strongest casters in the next expansion from what it looks like right now, Shadow Priests. So any priests out there, I know you've been waiting in the dark for a very long time. This is your chance to shine. Warlords is looking like a priest expansion finally for Shadow Priests.
Dare we say in the shadows?
In the shadows. There you go. I didn't intend for that pun.
I will say that I have heard some things from beta testers. These numbers are strictly single target fights. So I've heard like the Gladiator Warrior, for instance, is who's number 4 overall on the charts right now in Tier 17 normal, is garbage in an AoE fight. Just because that's how it's set up. But it shines in single target, so we will see.
Remember, these numbers are.
Yeah, these are just single target patchwork.
It also looks like I'll be playing Windwalker next expansion.
It looks that way.
I think we're all switching to Windwalker. So,
Windwalker
Windwalker Wednesdays, there we go.
Heroic raid or mythic rating with 20 Windwalker monks.
Yep.
Switching the name
Basically,
right now.
we kill the boss so fast that he can't kill all 20 of us before he dies.
The nice thing, I don't know if you've recently looked specifically at the numbers, but these numbers, they're not ahead in any advantage. Like when they get to Mythic, they're up by a couple. I'd say maybe like 2,000 at the most. They're up at like the final stages if they get both one-handers at a Mythic level. But the normal, they're only up by like I think less than 1,000. I don't think they're up that much right now compared to the other DPS.
Much tighter.
Yeah. Yeah. So the jump starts happening when you see the Mythic, but I still think, I'm calling it, by next Tuesday we're going to see very close numbers, and I'm thinking that Feral Druid is going to stand at top at the end of this Simcraft adventure by Tuesday. For some reason, Feral Druids always get that little jump. I don't know what it is. I think they're going to take it again. They're going to be sitting at number 1. I'm saying Windwalker Monk will be number 2, but we'll just see what happens from there. I don't want to beat on this topic too much, but
I feel like rogues are going to be higher up as well. I feel like they're a bit low from what we've normally seen in past expansions and patches. I feel like they are a little bit just too low.
Too low.
Yeah.
Talk about Warlocks then. Jesus.
Yeah, Warlocks
I've never
got
seen Warlocks that low before.
dumpstered.
Yep.
All right,
Never seen them that.
Fire mages also.
Yeah. Fire mages are they're dispriests right now.
Yep.
Garbage.
Oh, I'm not, like I said, we'll see what happens. If we see the changes, you'll hear about it definitely in Raid Week Wednesday next week. We'll be freaking out if the numbers do change or something like that.
And
but
they're changing like every single day now. So
Every
if
day.
you guys are checking out Simcraft's, just check it regularly, just for updates.
Yeah,
every single day.
the open beta is closed now, but the raid beta is still open to the certain guilds that are helping Blizzard with it, like Method and Midwinter. Those guys are still, I think, working on raid testing and raid balancing.
Yep. But like I said, we'll see what happens every day. It's almost becoming boring looking at, because I either sit there, I come home, and I click the new updated one. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I kind of expected Windwalker Monks to be up there. Okay. Oh, someone changed, one class changed? Cool. Okay, great. But it's constantly changing. They're doing a bunch of fixes to show the more specific stats. Trinkets, sometimes they don't have the trinkets all working. They don't have some of the stats actually reading. So that's kind of, you can't really go off that. You kind of just have to wait to see who's doing what in the game. And Patchwork Sim DPS is, a majority of raiders can't ever reach that Patchwork Simcraft. It's very rare to see. I don't even think 50% of the raiding community can ever reach their Simcraft numbers. So maybe they'll just have the advantage. But if it's only that 2K increase in Mythic, we might not even see Windwalker Monks being on top just because of play style, unless we pick up that number 1 Windwalker Monk or those top 100 Windwalker Monks that just know what they're doing with their eyes closed for their class. Like,
Right here.
R.I.P.
well, yeah,
actors.
yeah.
R.I.P.
There you go.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. If you were to pick a name for a monk, wouldn't it be Saki? Just saying.
Oh, so are we just? This isn't Windwalker Wednesday anymore. Let's get off this.
Windwalker Wednesday.
All right. Okay. Well, you guys brought Eye of Azshara to my attention. I want to bring something small to everyone's attention, really brief, but it's a nice topic to get onto when you're just sitting around waiting to do something during the day or waiting to play WoW or even some time at work. Curse has introduced to us a little kind of contest they're doing that if you do vote and do actually participate, you have chances to win actual gaming gear, which I recommend. It takes 30 seconds to vote, and it takes about a minute or 2 to register. The End Game. It's called The End Game. If we can, post a link in the chat as well. What Curse is doing is they paired up a bunch of End Game bosses, or from the lore, a bunch of powerful characters from World of Warcraft in head-to-head combat. Not necessarily, they're not actually fighting in 3D mode. There's just lore against lore of those characters paired up against each other right now. From Jaina fighting Ragnaros to Sargeras fighting Cthulhu, Arthas fighting Deathwing, just different pair-ups like that. They're putting these characters together and allowing the community to vote on who they think would win, and in the end, who they think the downright most powerful character in the game is. And this is where I want to ask you guys, after looking at it a little bit, or just actually thinking on your own scale, who do you guys personally favorite as the end game boss of bosses, the most powerful character in the lore of World of Warcraft?
But actually, before we get to that climax, let's take a look at some of these feature matches first and see, regardless of what the results were, what you guys think real quick. Medivh versus Shah of Fear.
Okay, like some of these pyramids, they're silly. Like that's ridiculous.
That's like fucking. Oh my god, I can't even. All right,
Look up a bigger one.
let's do Medivh versus Yogg Saron.
Okay.
So we've got a Guardian of Tirisfal versus an old god. What do you guys think, Chris?
I feel like you gotta go with the old god.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, Medivh. Here's the thing in Warcraft. Like, I get that he's a strong character in Warcraft, but I feel like he just comes off as a pawn most times. I'm speaking of Medivh. I'm sorry, and I feel like I just feel like it wouldn't even be a fight. It would be like, it would just be over before it even began. Like I feel like most, if you look, I feel like most characters now, like just the average character running around, is more powerful than Medivh is, if not as powerful.
Well, no, I don't
All right,
think.
well,
hold
yeah, go
on,
ahead.
before you go on, I think
They're big Medivh shippers. So
I
watch
think-
out.
Oh, I'm
Well,
a
hate to knock you guys down a peg, but
I think you're a little bit wrong there, because now Yogg-Saron is an old god. The old gods were imprisoned by the Titans. Now one of the Titans, being the most important one, being Sargeras, the source of all evil, he was stopped during his first coming by Aegwynn. Now Aegwynn is Medivh's mother. If she was able to stop the thing that imprisoned Yogg-Saron in the first place, and then her powers were passed on to Medivh, I don't know, because like not only does he has her powers, but also what about all the stuff he's learned and all the powers that he's gained through his lifetime of learning and all that nonsense. So I think Medivh is gonna take that one actually hands down.
Yeah, well, when you talk about it, Yogg-Saron is also an old god that does a lot of manipulation on the mind, but we all know that Medivh has
Medivh's
pretty much
crazy
done the
already.
same thing, and he's already persuaded a lot of people already to do a lot of things, as Yogg-Saron did as well. The thing is, Yogg-Saron's not mobile because of it. Medivh is an actual person, just like us. We have faced Yogg-Saron already by entering his mind and killing him from the inside. That's Yogg-Saron's weakness. You can kill him by defeating him from the inside. I believe Medivh being more, I think he's more flexible in being he's a human. He can move around. He can actually manipulate things, and he can shape shift, different things like that. He has already a strong power himself of manipulation, and Yogg-Saron, he's been able to fight off. He was able for a while, I believe, to fight off Sargeras until it just eventually cracked on him. If Sargeras took time to get into Medivh, and Sargeras was the one that locked up the old gods, I don't think Yogg-Saron's really gonna have a chance against a fully capable Medivh who is almost able or willing or was able to fight off him Sargeras for quite some time.
And
I mean, he has the potential. And like I said, you said players are stronger than Medivh. If we can go inside Yogg-Saron and kill Yogg-Saron, I don't think it changes Medivh any differently for being able to do the same thing.
I don't think players are even stronger than him, because I mean, like, first off, Sargeras is the champion of the Titans. His job was to hold back and fight back evil and all that stuff. So you figure that when the Titans imprisoned the old god, Sargeras was doing the heavy lifting, if not all of it. So this individual being the embodiment of the powers that were that managed to hold back Sargeras, you would think that he wouldn't, Yogg-Saron wouldn't be much of a problem. He's just a level 90 mob in Veil of Eternal Blossoms to him. I think, and not only Medivh also potentially gave birth, or well, didn't really give birth, but is the father of the most powerful being to ever exist on Azeroth, potentially, his son Medan. I think I definitely think Medivh would take that one hands down. But before we can go into this whole Medivh,
Big Medivh shippers, these guys.
yeah, seriously.
Arthas,
There's a bigger matchup. Yeah,
Arthas
there's a bigger
versus
matchup.
Deathwing. Chris,
Ooh, that's rough. Give me a second here.
Deathwing.
Arthas versus Deathwing. I don't know. I feel you got to go Arthas on this one.
What?
Yeah,
I said that at first too.
I mean, he's got the power of the Scourge, yo. You just don't. I mean, Deathwing, yeah, problem, sure, but Arthas was the bane of existence for how long? Like, I feel like Arthas at the height of his power, it wouldn't even be. He would Frostmourne Deathwing so quickly. I mean, it doesn't even.
Well, I want to get my stand on this one. So
I can't even like fathom how like
I go Deathwing on this one.
Before
Definitely.
Ethan goes, I'm gonna go because I'm gonna be a lot quicker than him. Let's look at how big Arthas is. Normal size human, right?
I mean, he's a little bit bigger.
He's a
but
little
yeah.
bit bigger because he's the fucking boss. They have to make the bosses
He's like,
taller.
yeah, 7, 8 feet tall. So
They scaled him. They scaled him. Now, Deathwing, if you watch the cinematic, his wingspan is larger than that of the front Stormwind gates. He flaps his wings, Azeroth breaks apart. That's pretty goddamn powerful.
That's my
That's-
argument. Lich
yeah.
King invaded Azeroth. Deathwing broke Azeroth.
Yeah. Now,
And one flap of the wing too. Like it wasn't even.
And but he was all of Azeroth. Like Lich King was Ice Crown. That's it. So I mean, like, look at whose influences.
Okay, but at the same time, I mean, so Deathwing breaks Azeroth, creates a lot of dead people, which then adds to Arthas's power. So
Well, no,
everything,
because-
everything Deathwing could do would just make Arthas stronger as the Lich King.
Now,
Well, he wouldn't create dead people. Well, in this matchup,
It's just 1v1.
It's 1v1.
Well,
So
I mean,
even if-
technically, Arthas isn't. It's not 1v1 because Arthas has one of his abilities
The
has to
Scourge,
be
you
to
can't
summon the
discount
Scourge.
his power.
He's got Army of the Dead. Now let's look at what the Scourge are: bunch of frozen old bones of rattling corpses, right? And Arthas, obviously, just being a single human, doesn't have any ranged abilities. So Deathwing, flap in the air, lava breathe all over the Scourge, melted, garbage, no longer there, and Arthas melts too because he's made of like frozen metal. So I mean, have you seen his face? Like he looks like an icicle. So I think Deathwing takes that one's hand down.
I think that's how Jaina beat Ragnaros, because Jaina's a frost mage.
Yeah, that was another one. Was Jaina versus
Well, Ragnaros
but
is a very weak #1 seed, by the way. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I don't know, man. He's like we had to fight him twice to kill him. So
I mean, that doesn't make him good. He got beaten twice.
no, we couldn't even finish the job the first time. He's very he's strong. Now,
Yeah, well,
Ellie,
you know who's never
Arthas
been
doesn't have ranged
beaten
attacks.
around?
yeah, we said that.
Okay, that's like that was my main point. When even before Deathwing, how you said he cracked like Azeroth and damaged it, like there has to be a limit. Like at least when you guys said Jaina could be Ragnaros, she has the ability to cast. Like the fact that he has nothing to do in a range perspective limits him completely.
Let's count
Except
him out because
the whole entire army of undead mages.
Yeah, but
Ragnaros
Deathwing's
has
fire would just melt all of those in a second. His blood alone would incinerate anything who got close enough to even puncture him. It would just
except us.
except yeah. So for some reason we're
Yeah, I
we're
was just
strongest
point out,
things.
part of his downfall was destroying a wart on his back. So I mean, kind of a big weak spot. I don't know. I still feel like the Lich King. And by the way, there always has to be a Lich King. So the Lich King cannot actually,
Well, it says Arthas / the Lich King, so it means Arthas as the Lich King. So Arthas, not because our new. That's also one thing that we might have to consider for a future expansion is. Are we gonna have to deal with the next Lich King, or is the next Lich King going to help us? Being that this current Lich King is Bolvar 4 Dragon.
We're getting way too far ahead of ourselves right now.
We'll have to save that for like the the
Save
5-day
it.
long. Oh wait, nope. Oops. Hold on. I don't want to say that yet.
Okay, yeah, hold on. All right, so we have like 10 minutes. Let's cover everything else. If you guys want to participate in this discussion, we'll be probably doing more of it because this is going to continue on to next week's Raid Week Wednesday.
Let's go real quick. Who do you guys got in the finals right now? We'll just go around the room.
Final four.
Just your final. Who's your final two?
Sargeras against Deathwing. I'm calling, or actually Sargeras against Medivh. I'm calling her there. Or Deathwing. One of those two.
I think it's Midi versus Sargeras as well.
Hold on, I'm looking at everyone there. Okay. In a real fight, I think it would end up Salgaris versus. I don't know. Does Deathwing get past Onyxia?
I've got a feeling he's gonna say some shit like
Oh,
Lady
what?
Lady
You would
Vosh.
actually comparing Deathwing to Onyxia
I'm
right
looking
now?
at. Well, Onyxia was at least in control of herself. I'm just thinking, who are people going to vote for?
Didn't
And that's why I
Deathwing
think
penetrate
Jaina
the
gets
shit
as
out of
far
her?
as she does. I think just because people are voting and not people actually fighting, I think you're going to see Kill Jaden versus Jaina is what I see, just by votes.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go crazy curveball. I'm gonna be that guy. Jaina versus Arthas in the finals.
I thought he was gonna say some shit like Lady Vosh versus Malagos.
No, Jaina versus Arthas. Battle of two lovers that can never be together. They've already fought once, and Jaina didn't win. So we'll see.
Why isn't Thrall on here? Because he's pretty strong.
I would pick Thrall over most any of these guys at this point. Thrall right now.
Well,
Like,
actually,
who's stronger
Yeah,
than
Pimp
Thrall right
slapped
now?
by Garrosh before he even
who's
changed.
stronger than Thrall? Medivh, Medan. I definitely think Anduin's like there. We don't know
Not right now.
the
Well,
extent.
no, Anduin got wrecked.
Anduin in
He's-
10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We also don't know to the extent of Rathion's power either.
But I'd put Thrall over most of these guys.
And then, but Sargeras though, like, come on,
Yeah, that's the main one.
the
Like,
whole reason this game exists.
Yeah.
I wonder if people will not vote because he hasn't been able to truly form himself. Like, I wonder if that's going to limit people to voting. Like, oh, well, I haven't actually ever seen him. He's only like part of the history because he's part of the history at
Well,
this point.
I
Like,
mean-
if anything, you'd see Kil'jaeden being more of a foe to the other ones because he's actually been.
But we killed
the-
Kil'jaeden. We're scared of like an avatar, not even his fully fledged form, an avatar of Sargeras from entering the world. We are terrified for when that occurs. Like, we've already stopped it twice, 3 times, I think, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it earlier off mic, but we agree that Sargeras is going to be the final boss of WoW.
Has to.
You don't think? I'm surprised. I thought actually Khadgar would make it on this list, being the apprentice of Medivh.
He's nowhere
thought-
near as strong though.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
Medivh is-
but I mean, like, look at some. Like, you tell me, like, you Khadgar can't beat the Shavfir. Like, you're telling me, like, in some of these situations, he can't do any of that. Like, there's some of them.
He's strong, but he's not like Jaina Proudmoore is a stronger mage, like hands down. Just because he was
Well, yeah,
the
but-
reason Medivh made Khadgar his apprentice was all of the people that Medivh surrounded himself with was because he was aware that Sargeras was inside of him. So the people that he associated himself with and that he kept around, closely, he knew that when the time came that, the madness would overcome him, these people together collectively would be able to stop him. So that's why that they were around. So as a group, they had to stop him. But I mean, I don't think Khadgar should have been here over Gruul or Lady Vash. I think he should have been here over Kel'Thuzad or Zul'jin. But I also
Come on.
yeah, I also think that Archimonde should have totally been paired up with somebody else other than his master, because Archimonde and Kil'jaeden are both very, very, very strong characters in the World of Warcraft lore. So
Good lore talk. Good lore talk.
it was
Great
solid.
Lord Tom.
We
All right,
haven't
this
had
is
one of
a
those.
lore.
So
Yeah. Okay, well, we didn't get to everything we want to talk about, but it's kind of, we actually have topics that we just like to plan for next week. We will be, just to let everyone know before we wrap up here, next Wednesday, we will be starting the stream at the usual 8 p.m. Eastern, but we will be going for 4 to 5 days, nonstop. The stream will be open in preparations for Warlords of Draenor and just the leveling process that we go through in Warlords of Draenor. Next week, you'll hear us talk about... Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say I snore, so I'm going to apologize in advance for
yeah.
that.
So
Mute the mics.
There-
Just
there-
put the video on.
the reason why he's apologizing is when we say we're going to be streaming for 4 or 5 days, we're going to be streaming for 4 to 5 days. We're going to stream our entire process of 1 to 100, and us partially gearing up, if not completely gearing up, depends on how long it takes us. When we start the stream, we're going to introduce ourselves again, say what's up, and throughout the night, as we anticipate that 3 a.m. release time, we're going to be bringing in all of our Mythic Raiders, all of our guild members, and we're going to introduce you guys to them so that way you guys can really kind of get integrated into the community, just so you know who's who. So that way when we start putting out other content, such as our raid kills, we're going to be bringing out some boss fight guides as well, once we've kind of got things down packed on our own, and we're going to simplify it. I'm not going to tell you exactly how we're going to do it, because I don't want you faggots stealing any of my shit, but it's going to be very simple, easy to learn, and it's going to be very informative.
Yep.
We're, like Chris said, we're going to be bringing out some things like add-on spotlights when we finally start experimenting more with some new add-ons in this new expansion. So expect a lot of content, and expect a lot of the people that you're going to get introduced to on Wednesday night and Thursday morning to be involved in a lot of our videos.
Yep. And then just things to just pay attention to. We encourage anyone to invite friends, anything like that, because we also want to include our audience in these discussions. We might pick out a couple people to actually come on Skype with us to actually discuss different things like the Lord tonight, who they think would win once we talk about the end game next week, their favorite things about Mr. Pandaria, just different things like that. Next week, we'll be covering tips for leveling in Warlords of Draenor. We have two different perspectives. Myself, on a very fast, amped kind of leveling process. I managed to do 90 to 92 in an hour and 26 minutes as my best time, with even some mistakes. And then McShield did it on a normal time. He took his time from there. So we'll give you a little bit of what we both experienced and what to do to prepare yourself while leveling in Warlords of Draenor. We're going to talk about treasure maps. That's another thing we'll just get more in depth with on Wednesday. We even have a little spoiler for that. We have all the Tom locations for all of those treasures throughout Warlords of Draenor to make your leveling experience easier. But we'll get more in depth with that on Wednesday, next Wednesday. While the stream's going all night, we'll be discussing a lot of the old content, a lot of the new content to come, and depending on how things go, we might add a little bonus of giveaways, different things like that.
Yeah, we'll do some flashbacks. We'll do some tier lists. We'll discuss the most recent changes to DPS charts. We may talk a little bit about our first raid encounter or raid instance that we're gonna see in a couple weeks' time past the release of Warlords of Draenor. There's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a 4 to 5 day stream, so expect a hell of a lot of content.
There's going to be 5 days, so I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot of different things. And
it's going to get weird sometimes,
You're talking about BLIZZCon, too.
It might get downright uncomfortable at times, but we're going to power through it.
Again, 4 to 5 days. When I say you're going to see us leveling... Like, it's going to be us. You'll see our screen, but you're also going to see the webcam. So you'll see, every once in a while, somebody's going to lay down for 20 minutes sleeping.
We're webcamming this.
Yeah, you're going to see people around the apartment sleeping, going to the bathroom, cooking
playing
food.
With the cat.
Yeah, playing with the cat. Exactly. So you're going to see literally everything what's going to go into this 90 to 100 race and gearing up.
I need to clean my apartment.
Get that clean, get
Dude,
prepared.
I'm going to be there tomorrow, so hurry it up.
Besides that, though, I think we're done. I think that's all we need to cover today.
Yeah. Thanks again for coming, guys.
We did it.
Before anything, if you guys already haven't, follow us on Twitch. You guys can check us out at #progression.com, or if you guys want to see the VOD of this and didn't manage to catch the whole thing, it'll be on youtube.com/#progression. Feel free to subscribe, like our videos. We have all of our past ones up there. I know on Saturday, a couple of our gentlemen here met Preach Gaming over in Orlando, and we had a little bit of inspiration on their part to do a first episode of Sudden Pod Saturday. And that one we actually didn't stream, so it was just completely out of nowhere. We just threw on the local record and put it on YouTube. So if you guys want to go check out that one, we talk a lot about we go in depth with team synergy, building chemistry of your raid groups, some advice that Preach gave us, and some other stuff. So make sure you guys can go check that out again at youtube.com/#progression. But besides that, that'll be us for the night, guys.
I think you should stream the Mythic Garage Guild tonight if you would like to, but that's another thing. So if
you're
that's up to him,
thirsty.
Potentially.
Yep, if you're feeling. So if we have it up, you guys can watch us take down Mythic Garage tonight. But besides that,
Hey,
I'm
Nax.
Ricardo. It's
All right,
done.
love you.
Good night, Naxinus.
Hey, good night.
Rady, I miss you already.
I miss you too. Love you guys.